Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. So we know the Cybercab will not have a charging port, which has made many people think it's a big mistake from Tesla. Why would they make a car that cannot use their existing charging network? So why would customers buy a car that they can't charge up at the charging network? And why would Tesla sell these Cybercabs to the customers in the first place and not just keep them for themselves? But I think there is a meaning with the madness. I actually think it's quite a genius move from Tesla, because this will make Tesla completely and utterly untouchable in this game of autonomous vehicles. So let's check it all out and let's dive right in. As we know from Waymo, putting robotaxis on the street is going to be very capital expensive. Waymo is still not profitable 7 years after they started their first robotaxis on the street. Tesla Cybercabs are going to be much cheaper to put on the roads, as ARK Invest also showed in their Big Ideas 2025 report. But because these robotaxis are supposed to be able to drive around themselves and go charge themselves and clean themselves autonomously, Tesla has also developed a self-cleaning robot and a wireless charging for the Cybercab. So for this to work, Tesla has to build out a whole new charging network and not rely on their old, huge, reliable charging network. Some have seen this as a big mistake from Tesla, but I actually think there is a reason for the madness. Also because Tesla has said that you and I will be able to buy a Cybercab. So as I made a whole video about, that is actually a genius move on its own, as this will make sure someone like Waymo or Uber will have to buy a Tesla Cybercab if they should even be competitive against you and I. But why are Tesla selling them to you and I, and why not keep all that earnings to themselves? I personally think this is because of the big capital that is needed to build all of these Cybercabs in millions and their entire charging network and cleaning network and so on that they have to build out. So why didn't Tesla just make the Cybercab with a charging port? Now you can't charge up the Cybercab at home or an existing charging network. Well, I think, first of all, this is on purpose, because even though Tesla will sell the Cybercab to everyone that wants to at some point, Tesla will still control everything about the fleet, as you can only use a Cybercab on Tesla's upcoming wireless charging network. So they will start selling Cybercabs probably in Austin and nowhere else, as that is the only place they will probably have wireless Cybercab charging stations. So people can't just buy a Cybercab and take it to the Washington state and start driving around without regulatory approval, getting Tesla in trouble. Because there is no way to charge the Cybercab up there before Tesla puts in wireless charging station, and they will not do that before they have approval. So Tesla will be in total control of everything because of this. But at the same time, they will get help from all the people and companies that want to buy a fleet of Cybercabs and running them in Austin, for example, because they will cost Tesla maybe $15,000 to $20,000 to produce. But Tesla will sell them for maybe $25,000 to $30,000, bringing in Tesla $10,000 to $15,000 from day one. Instead of the Cybercab having to be operating as a robotaxi for about a year to pay itself off. This way, they are paid off basically at day one. And then Tesla, of course, still earn money on their software in their cars you will probably have to subscribe to. And they will earn money on their charging stations as well, and the cleaning stations. that the person or company that is buying the Cybercab have to use can probably have another little subscription to the cleaning if you don't want to do that yourself, but of course pay for the charging. So Tesla will earn $10,000 to $15,000 straight out of the gate. Maybe $100 a month on software subscriptions every month going forward for every Cybercab they put on the street. Maybe $20 in cleaning subscription for the cleaning station, and we know Tesla is aiming for about 5.5 kilowatt hour per miles in efficiency for the Cybercab. So if they drive 50,000 miles a year, that's about 900 kilowatt hours that is needed to charge the Cybercab every year. So if the price per kilowatt hour is about 40 cents, that is another roughly $3,600 in revenue a year in charging per Cybercab Tesla has in the fleet through you and I. So all of this will of course help Tesla bring in more capital to scale everything up faster, from the Cybercabs themselves to the charging/cleaning stations and the whole infrastructure with the app and ecosystem to keep an eye on all the Cybercabs. If Tesla didn't sell the Cybercabs to you and I, they would lose about $15,000 for every Cybercab they put on the street. They will have to pay for the electricity to charge the Cybercab and the cleaning themselves, and they would only earn money per mile driven, basically as Waymo does today. So by selling the Cybercab to customers, they help fund the capital needed to scale this up much faster. And their wireless charging makes sure that Tesla is still in full control and making sure that every Cybercab will come charging at Tesla's charging station and not at some competitor's charging station. And this will also make sure that Tesla controls the rollout of the Robotaxi network, even though they sell to third parties. That helps pay off the whole thing by making sure they can only use the Cybercabs in the areas that Tesla has built out the wireless Robotaxi charging network. And just like solar, wind, and battery SWB systems that Tony Seba talks about all the time, Tesla will build out the Robotaxi networks to be able to handle peak hours that would normally be seen as too costly for someone like Waymo. But that will result in an overcapacity of Cybercabs. But unlike Waymo, that would just have been a very expensive capital sitting doing nothing for a big portion of the day. And that would not have been a very reliable thing to do. But Tesla's Cybercab would be able to help with AI inference, as Elon has mentioned, earning Tesla money. It would also be able to help out the grid doing peak hours in the morning or evening before and after the rush hour sets in for traffic, buying and selling electricity to and from the grid, earning Tesla money. But also, because Tesla cars only cost about $15,000, it's about 6 times less capital expensive to put them on the street as it is for Waymo as well. But if Tesla also sells them to third parties, it would basically not even cost Tesla anything to put a Robotaxi on the street. So this will simply make sure there is an overcapacity of Cybercabs, which in the end will push down the price per mile even further, just as Tony Seba has explained with SWB systems, and why this will create superpower and make energy in abundance, because it's built for the coldest and darkest days of the year. Cybercabs will be built to serve the peak hours of the day. So this will make the price per mile so much better than anyone else can even dream about, beating any company on the street like Waymo. So Tesla has really thought this all the way through. How do they get help with the heavy lifting with this capital expensive journey of making robotaxis run as autonomously as possible and build out the infrastructure with the operation and apps and charging and cleaning stations? How do we make sure people don't just buy them and then use them in an area that is not allowed, and not use other charging companies but only use Tesla's own dedicated charging stations? And how do we earn money on cleaning the Cybercab instead of costing us money to clean the Cybercab? So I think Tesla has thought this through very thoroughly. in so much more details than someone like Waymo. Waymo only have thought about how do we get a car to drive autonomously around downtown. Not about the charging or the cleaning or the autonomous driving between cities or how to make a robotaxi earn money when they are not in use. So they will not be able to compete against this flood from Tesla that will hit the streets, as Tesla has the opportunity to build for peak usage because of the cost advantage they have. So Tesla will have a much better user experience by far, as you will be able to get a Cybercab within a minute or two. But for Waymo, you might have to wait 10 to 15 minutes in rush hour, maybe even more. And Tesla Cybercabs is much cheaper as well, and you will have a lot more entertainment inside the car. So all in all, a better user experience that is both faster to come pick you up and faster to get you to your destination, and you don't have to worry about, can the car actually drive to your destination because I'm going outside the city? Where with the Waymo Robotaxi, you would have to check that out, and it will be more expensive. There is just no competing with this. Actually, Tesla's Cybercab will even be able to compete with short-haul flight, like the flight between LA and San Francisco, for example, from downtown to downtown, including taxi to the airport, getting through security and check-in and having to be there 1 hour before takeoff, getting your luggage, finding another taxi to downtown. And if all of that goes smoothly, well, it will probably take you about 4 hours. And the flight itself will cost you about $65 to $85 depending on the airline, budget or major airline, and that is only the flight itself. You still have to get to and from the airport in a taxi. Whereas jumping into a Cybercab, picking you up at your address, whatever that might be, at the time you want it to, not when there is a scheduled flight departure, driving you to your destination directly will probably take between 6 to 7 hours. And if ARK Invest is going to be right with their 25 cents per mile, the roughly 380 miles drive would cost about $95. So it will take you maybe 2 hours more, but you don't have to time it with a flight. So you might even end up spending less time, as you don't have to arrive a couple hours before your meeting. You can just plan to go when it fits in your schedule. So you might end up using the same time and spending the same amount of money, but you will not have to worry about getting a taxi, getting through security, checking in, sitting in a plane with 200 other people and 3 screaming kids, hoping your luggage will be there, finding another taxi. You can just work for 6 hours if you want to. Sleep for 6 hours if you want to. Watch a movie, then get some work done, and then take a power nap. The time is yours, as these vehicles will get you from point A to point B without all the hassle. I would personally love to take a Cybercab for myself, having 6 hours to work if during the day and not even missing a minute of work that day. Or if it fits better during the early morning because of the traffic and the time of my meeting, I can just take a nap during the drive. This will be so much more convenient, and you will probably be able to get it even cheaper if you don't do this journey during peak hours when most of the Cybercabs is idling anyway. So I do think Cybercab, and because of the way the whole thing is set up for peak usage, and the charging and the cleaning and the cost of production and the selling to customers and the AI inference and helping out the grid, the Cybercab will not only disrupt Waymo, but also disrupt short-haul flights and long bus travels. So this also makes me think that sure, one robotaxi could take away the need for 5 normal private cars, but there will be so many more use cases for a Cybercab. Also for businesses using it as a little van to get the product to your customers, or use as company fleet cars. And with the Optimus robot in the mix as well, the possibilities will be endless. So I think we will actually have more robotaxis on the street in the future than we have vehicles today, as more people will be able to afford it and more businesses will use them, and they will simply open up for so many more use cases than ever before. So that is why I personally think not giving the Cybercab a charging port is no mistake. It is a very deliberate move from Tesla to keep control even though they sell to third parties to help with the capital-intensive ramp of their robotaxi business that will be even much smaller than any other competitors because of the cost that Tesla has been able to do, as they have been able to innovate in the manufacturing itself. Not even the Chinese will be able to compete with this. Tesla is truly making something very special here. No other automaker or joint venture has made a complete setup like this. Not even the Chinese. They have only been focused on solving full self-driving, not every other part of the equation, from manufacturing to charging to cleaning, inference, grid support, and help with capital expenditures. Tesla will be completely and utterly untouchable in this game. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.